Might and Magic 7 re-review, Archaic Fossil Edition, trademark, by SsethTzeentach.
Hey people, Seth here. Pilgrimage. For some, this means visiting the Vatican or Mecca. For me, it's replaying my favorite game and subjecting my audience to a series of moldy pixels. Might and Magic 7, for Blood and Honor. What it lacks in length and fidelity, it makes up for by the fact that it's better than any psychological Skinner's box released today. There's a lot of party compositions, and technically, you could finish the game with anything, but it would be extremely painful. Coincidentally, the default is probably also the most complete experience. Behold, my party. We pick Goblin Knight for the
Not Joe Rogan! Oh, we're in for a treat 30 seconds in.
Joker's voice.
You have to choose me.
A sorcerer and a cleric, so we can actually have fun. And my thief is simply a product of socioeconomic condition. Emerald Island is the tutorial zone, which you can never return to, which is a shame because it has one of my favorite tracks. I use the
Oh my god, this is a product of its time. It's on GOG. Oh, Seth, are you gonna make me buy another game? Like the last 3 videos he's done, I've actually ended up buying the games he's done. Fine, Seth, I'll go buy the game. Don't let anyone tell you that marketing doesn't work, okay? Don't let anyone try to tell you that YouTubers, streamers, influencers, don't let them tell you that they don't have an impact on what people buy, okay? I have bought entire games I still have to play on stream because of this man.
G copy of Might and Magic 7. By pure muscle memory, I start torrenting before remembering that I own it legally and in real life. We use Greyface's patch for Might and Magic 7 to stretch for widescreen resolution, rearrange the UI, and give us mouse look. Convenience for me is a necessity for you. You're not going to survive the arrow keys. Lord Markham's treasure hunt is the basis of our adventure. He wants to pawn off the shitty town of Harmondale in the middle of contested territory between Arathia and Tularia, which both sides believe rightfully belongs to them. We'll need several items. A red potion.
A perfect mix.
A seashell, which you can find stashed to the north. It's tradition for me to do none of the fighting, as I lure dragonflies to kill half the town. This time, I keep Mr. Malwick alive. His associates will have a favor to collect on in the future. It's a lot more fun this way. As for rigging the contest, we don't really need the wand, but it's useful later on. A hat, which you can trade for a red potion from Brent, a mentally challenged adventurer who can't make his own. A floor tile, which you get from the Temple of the Moon, along with getting ambushed by another adventurer for your hat, who is also mentally challenged, because there's one in the drawer right behind him. A longbow, which you find on the floor of the Dragon's Cave, along with the missing contestants, and possibly a dead party member if you're not fast enough.
Let's get out of here.
And a musical instrument. Wait, what? 500 gold?
I mean, that is a premium loot.
Love to pay you. But I have a different idea. Originally, I was going to lure her out of town with Alex Jones screaming and take it by force. But it turns out you can pickpocket by pressing control. I killed her anyway. Locating the missing contestants and completing the treasure hunt gets us a lot of experience. But we need just a little more.
I did it.
We've been on this island for so long, my party is starting to go insane.
We may have a problem with this one.
A worthy opponent. Whoa.
For a normal player, this is when you leave, or you can sequence break your entire experience. Buff yourself with the Day of the Gods and Fire Resistance Shrine, and go back into the cave. Then, we spend the next 20 minutes kiting a red dragon, as we chip away at its health bar. Fun fact, endgame monsters such as dragons and titans have a chance of multi-looting. You click the body, you get items, and it doesn't disappear. And if it does, you just reload. After save scumming for
I love this. So if you explain this to literally anyone else in any other industry, right? Or any other like interest, right? God, this is such a gamer thing. And I feel like it's like imagine you and a bunch of people are at a bar or something like that, or at a get-together convention, right? And they're like, oh yeah, well, I worked very hard to be able to attain the musical skill that I needed for my career. And, I spent years in finance, making sure I worked my way up to, an investor. I worked my way up to become partner at my law firm, right? And you're just like, man, I ended up cheesing this dragon by by giving two orbs the good suck and then sleazing it for 20 minutes and then cheesing drop rates by save scumming. And like people would just look at you and they're just like, it's a little psychotic, don't you think? No, it's fine. This is just this is just gamerisms. This is normal, reasonable, rational gamer things.
For several minutes, I have enough artifacts and equipment to completely spoil my enjoyment of a game. So we throw him into the ocean. Taikisha becomes a victim of racial profiling and is banned from every store. We train to level 5 and set off to Harmondale.
Welcome aboard!
But first, I have obligations to a client that pays invoices 3 months late.
I honestly miss this animation style, though. I really do. Like Baldur's Gate 1, Sarabok throwing the dude off the roof, Diablo 1 and 2 and their old animation style. Like, I very much miss that animation style. Obviously, those who played Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition, and as I regrettably have, they swapped the actual like CG cutscenes for like storybook panels. Bro, I can't do that. Yes, Baldur's Gate is on my list to stream at some point. I want to go through 1 and 2. But those are going to be a long... I've never actually fully gone through those, and that's going to be a long one for me. So be prepared for that. I will have that on the gaming channel at some point.
Yes, I'm not a bug chaser. I'm a bag chaser, and I'm addicted to the jingle of coin.
Yeah.
Warning, under 18s may currently be watching this video. To
My
verify
God.
that you're above 18, please open your mouth in front of your webcam. Good. Now move closer and smile for the camera. Goyim, thanks to new online regulations, scenes like these are happening all over the world. You could be next. That is...
It's okay. You just have to have a picture of Norman Reedus on hand. Just as long as you have a copy of Death Stranding 2, apparently you're fine. Or Gmod, actually.
Unless you make the most important decision of your life. Prove to yourself that you have the strength and courage to be free. Download ExpressVPN. What's a VPN? Well, let's check Wikipedia. Okay, let me just enter my driver's license, social security number, and Costco membership. Just need to submit these and submit my entire identity on a silver platter to every single website I log into. Because nothing says protecting the kids like forcing them to build their own perfect database to train AI deepfakes. What could possibly go wrong? So how about we just don't do that? There we go. ExpressVPN works by routing all of your online traffic through a secure encrypted tunnel. Any identifying information, most importantly, your location, will now come from the endpoint of this tunnel. So if your connection doesn't allow you to see the content you want, you can use ExpressVPN to move that connection to one of 105 countries where you can. Find out how you can get 4 months free by scanning the QR code on screen, clicking the link in the description box below, or by going to expressvpn.com/Seth. Despite being the newly made Lords of Harmondale, our own people treat us like dirt.
Need a new weapon? Thanks for nothing, moneybags.
The nerve.
It's worth visiting every house in town. Everyone has something to say, a quest to give, or skills to train. Additionally, you can hire NPCs. These can enhance your abilities or compensate for a lack of them.
Officer, he's reaching!
That was a close one. Generally, if they have a name, they can be interacted with. Unless they're called Peasant. This is a default name, like a fantasy version of Muhammad. Say it in public, and 20 people turn around. First order of business, we need to talk to our geriatric butler.
It doesn't look too bad in here.
It seems our castle is overrun with goblins, and it's time to evict them. And now, we draw straws for who gets to pick through the garbage.
I think I'm getting sick.
Awful.
The castle is still a dump. We're too incompetent to fix it, so we have to ask the dwarves for help. Along the way, we find out Darren's brother Elrond has disappeared. They were planning to trade Magic the Gathering cards, but as his brother plays a blue control deck,
You monster.
he is a social pariah and has taken up residence with the troglodytes in a cave to the south. We find
You know what? It would be a blue player. See, I have no room to talk because I'm a filthy Tron player.
no trace of him, only a deck of cards and his dead body. I guess we'll never truly know. Nearby, we can find the Arbiter, who acts as diplomatic mediator between the factions. More importantly, he can replace quest items without asking what I did to the last one. Before we proceed, we need promotions. Any skill in white can be trained. Any skill in yellow needs a promotion to attain, and those in red are restricted by your class.
Right.
You could pursue anything, but personally, I hate walking. I want to fly and defecate openly on people's heads. To
Makes
this
sense.
end, we have to go to the worst area in the game, Brakata Desert. Nothing is reachable except by teleporter. Everything is a platforming nightmare, and there's a wishing well in town that only grants a single wish. Death.
I'm so dead.
For the sorcerer promotion, we need to build a golem. Unfortunately, the eBay seller has misdelivered all the parts and offers no refund. We have to...
What was that sound effect?
Unfortunately, the eBay seller...
I thought that was the tiny enemy from Mario Sunshine, the ones that spawn from the goo. How they go meow and how they jump at you. I thought it was that for a second.
Has misdelivered all the parts and offers no refund. We have to track them all down from the bill of sale. Naturally, none of this is explained to you. Also, the chest contains a faulty head, which will cause the golem to go berserk. So let's go get the real one. Next stop is Barrow Downs, another area that sucks. Ghosts called artificial aging. Gogs explode on death. And I failed to disarm the next chest.
Oops.
Good thing I have insurance. Next is Tatalia. I meant to have water walking to reach this island, but that's skill points I don't want to spend.
Oh. Look at this! Look at that!
Being defeated. Death is not your fate today.
I'm starting to think disarm trap expert might not be enough. Okay, I got humbled. Water walking is a necessity for the Avli shipment. I got murked by the water elemental several times and had to reload. But it's all worth it, because the last two shipments are in Deja.
Whoa.
We trail around town to avoid a restraining order, slaughter some harpies, and get our remaining parts. We assemble our golem and turn our sorcerer into a wizard. Now we're traversing in style. You don't have to do it in this order, but it makes our other promotions easier. For Knight to Cavalier, we have to clear out a haunted house in Barrow Downs, during which Rogan develops a fluoride stare. Unfortunately, the only person who can cure paralysis is currently paralyzed, so I have to reload. For Thief into Rogue, to even be able to talk to our quest giver, we need to fight past British teenagers inside the rankest septic tank sewer gutter. And then, we need to pay Lord Markham a visit and dash out with his antique vase. This is widely considered to be one of the hardest first promotions, which can also be completed in under 12 seconds.
Okay. Things gamers say.
And finally, for Cleric to Priest, we need to find the navigational map to Evermorn Islands.
Amazing.
Sorry.
With everyone promoted, now's a good time to visit the Warlocks and learn Master Water Magic. Unfortunately, they're only accessible through a set of shitty tunnels under Stone City. Beholders put you to sleep and make you insane, and Minotaur Lords have a chance to cause instant death. We're not even going to try fighting them right now. Instead, we go invisible and sneak past them. Mind the hitboxes. Even a light brush against a frenulum is game over for us.
I mean, honestly, I do like the modularity of that, though. Because, like, it allows you to solve mechanics and encounters in ways that you wouldn't think otherwise, right? And, like, sure, you can argue that certain things would absolutely trivialize the game. But, like, I feel it's, like, it rewards the player for good game knowledge, right? Like, I've talked about Final Fantasy XIV back in Stormblood. There was a follow X mission, don't get seen, right? You had to tail them. And I was playing Ninja at the time, I'm like, what if I just sneak? And chat's like, that's not going to work. And then I sneak, I do the hide skill. And like, zero problems at all, right? Chat's like, no way. But that's the thing, is like, you think outside the box, and good game knowledge, right, can really help you like solve an encounter, right? I like, especially like puzzles, like Resident Evil or like Silent Hill style puzzles, right? I like how there's, so what was it? Silent Hill 2 Remake, the hanging puzzle in Toluca Prison. How I guess there's multiple solutions, right? You get like what crime they're accused of and their reasoning for it, and you have to match them, right? But I think there's, if I remember correctly, there are multiple right answers. So, you know, someone might, you know, burn down a building or something like that, but the building ended up being contextually full of like Silent Hill cult members or something like that, or somebody ended up stealing a bunch of medication, but it was because that they you know, like they were just such a great amount of pain that they didn't see any way out, right? Versus people who are just like, yeah, nah, I ate the dude because honestly, like the walls were speaking to me or something like that, right? And being able to piece together, right? But having like coming to your own conclusion to be able to solve that, right? Like which is innocent, right? You know, like 2 or 3 are innocent out of the 6, right? Like it helps like justify to the player what it is rather than there just being a correct solution, right? And I usually run into issues with games where it's like you are supposed to solve an encounter this specific way, right? Taking that choice away from the player is never a good thing, in my opinion, right? Being able to not being able to modularly go through an encounter and resolve it the way that you would, within reason, obviously, right? I feel it takes away from games. So when a game has something as simple as just sneak by the Minotaur's 5-head, right? Like, it rewards game knowledge, it rewards thinking outside the box, and honestly, I'm a huge fan of that.
Portal is a major convenience for getting around, which is why the trainer has to be located in the most inconvenient location in the game. As
Makes
our
sense.
party is geared and skilled up, we can proceed with the story.
Oh, what a waste of time.
Unfortunately, Taikisha is arrested for an unpaid parking ticket and we go to prison. A year later, we've served our sentence and can finally talk to the king. It seems his dwarves went off to romance the Medusas, who didn't take kindly to the advances of our short kings, turning them into stone. Everyone we need to rescue is on the top level, and we never actually have to interact with a single Medusa. However, sabotaging the elevator suspension is still free XP. We return our manlets to the king. He sends out his engineers and advises us to watch our backs. As the first lords of Harmondale that aren't completely incompetent, we're forced into politics. The castle may be fully repaired, but now it's occupied by vultures. Erathia and Avli are at war, and they've sent their ambassadors to try and forge an alliance. Humans currently hold the border, which the elves claim was stolen during the Timber Wars. Neither of them recognize my legitimate claim to the land, as collector of several knickknacks on a remote island. Because of this, we're going to play both sides. Queen Catherine wants us to extract her spy before he's executed, while King Parson wants the floor plans to Fort Riverstride. Budget cuts and austerity have hit the military, as you'll be hacking through elves armed with branches and women armored from head to toe, but nothing in between. As the war is ongoing, these quests are timed. In a month's time, they'll call for a ceasefire. Both will go pray at the Wailing Wall in Bracada, and everything goes back to usual. You can choose to screw over each side by asking the king for a lookalike, and the queen for a fake set of blueprints. However, this grants less experience, and prior to the patch, none at all. Bizarrely, you can...
This reminds me from what I've heard of Morrowind, how you can technically brick your save file, Thread of Fate has been severed, start again, right? Or continue on in this Doom world, right? It reminds me a little bit of that, and it wouldn't surprise me if something like, Morrowind or Elder Scrolls really took inspiration from this series, right? Because as long as you know what to do, get Keening Sun to Wraithguard, and then be able to go to Red Mountain to be able to hit the heart of Lorcan. As far as I understand it, even if you get the doomed world state, you can still attempt to finish the game, right? You can still attempt to beat the game as long as you know what to do. So I like that. Yeah, unless you know what you're doing, you get that message. But even if you know what you're doing, right, you're still, if you know what you're doing, you're still able to continue, right? So something like this, I like being able to see that you have options, that you're able to, we can play both sides in this if you know what you're doing, right? And I like that. I think that makes a lot of games a lot more appealing to me. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Sometimes I just want a straight linear experience, right? But sometimes I like being able to solve things a little differently, right? Like, sometimes I want the linear nature of something like Silent Hill 4: The Room, right? And have, linear boss fights, be able to fight Walter Sullivan at the end, and, a big Civil War era standoff with two firearms, right? But sometimes you want something where you have a little bit more modularity, right? Like Metal Gear Solid 3 and by extension Delta, which I played recently, right? Like, I guess there's multiple ways of doing it, especially if you're trying to get the ends camouflage. Like, you have to, trank the parrot or something, and then, you have to sneak up on him, and it's strange. I don't know. I was hard. I did explain to me, but I don't understand the process completely. But the fact that you have that replayability and the fact that you have the modularity to approach the game as you want to is such a selling point to me.
Also choose to screw someone over, feel bad about it, confess to their leader, and get executed. which has no impact on your ability to make small talk with the king. And now we wait around,
Amazing.
gawking at the caked-up elven peasants. Hate to see him go, love to watch him leave. I don't want to go back to jail, so our next best option to advance the story is spend a few months training. When we get back, Judge Grey has a heart attack. As Lords of Harmondale, we reserve a right to choose his successor. This is where the game branches off, so I recommend saving beforehand. Judge Fairweather represents the Wizards of Bracada and successfully negotiates a peace treaty between Arathi and Avlee. Judge Sleen represents the Necromancers of Deja and lets our sorcerer do all the talking.
I don't want to see him kissing goblins, or if you catch him in bed with a goblin, gonna have babies with a goblin, he's gonna marry a goblin.
Understandably, this leads to all out
That has to be AI, right? Like, I know next to nothing about this man. I just know he screams a lot and gets loud, but that's about it.
war, but a lot of fresh bodies for our new allies. Welcome to the Path of Dark. The pit is a fire hazard of winding corridors. Homeowners Association would have a word about this.
Goblin grub good.
But hey, we have much more charming residents. Uncle Baz looking rough since he sprained that ankle. Good thing we've got the NHS. We need to see Archibald, which is more difficult than it sounds, because if I follow the guard's instructions, I'll accidentally enter a restricted area and get torn to pieces. For our initiation, we have to reach the end of a shithole. I can't decide what's worse, kiting 24 behemoths in a corridor or getting jump scared by a trap that's 20 decibels louder than anything else in the game.
Oh, that's
Colloquially
loud, yeah.
known as the Waffle House that never sleeps, you have to complete the breeding zone in a single try, as leaving will reset the area. It's worth the
Amazing.
suffering, because we get access to dark magic. Or so I thought.
Members only.
Time for our second promotions. For Cavalier to Black Knight, we have to rob the Elven Treasury. For Priest into Priest of Dark, we have to deface the altar in the Temple of the Sun. Both
Amazing.
completely trivial. For Rogue to Assassin, we have to assassinate Lady Carmine, a diplomat who defected to the wizard's court. There's a horde of angels between her, so we have to go invisible. On the way there, I get distracted.
Welcome.
As Taikisha goes for the throat, I realize she's a friendly NPC and accidentally talk to her instead.
Amazing.
Oops. It's time to leave, but as Celeste is in the sky, all we have to do is jump.
Yeah? Actually.
All that's left is the main reason for going dark, transforming our wizard into a lich. The ritual requires a soul jar as our phylactery, and we're all out. But there's a stolen shipment stashed inside the walls of mist. We get no experience from fighting here, so it's best to go invisible. This gives us a narrow time window between puzzle solving and staring at the backsides of genies. Pain
Amazing.
is temporary. Lichdom is forever. And if you become a girl lich, you get pretty pink princess eyes instead.
Nice!
The forbidden pickle jar must never be consumed or thrown away. Attempt to do so, and you'll quickly find out why. Just as we finish our promotions, we get a letter from an old friend. Niles Stanley, Mr. Malwick's employer, has come to collect on his favor. He wants us to steal a tapestry from Castle Gloaming. Doing this is a horrible idea, as it locks me out of story progression for at least a year of game time. But if I don't comply in a month's time, he's going to send starving adventurers and malnourished goblins to attack Harmondale. This isn't even a threat. It's an invitation to a good time. So we let the timer tick down and watch as my golem solos the entire raid. We celebrate
I love
by
that.
giving our goblin so many BBLs. She becomes the living ship of Theseus, with no original parts. Is she still Nicki Minaj, or simply an automaton animated by cellulite? It's worth
I mean, yeah. These are good questions. He does pose some very good questions here.
doing the other promotions, if not for the experience alone, then to see what kind of bullshit you have to survive for the other classes, which include basic cryptography, for which you have to bust out the pen and paper. The hardest.
My God. So what was it? I did a quote unquote lore drop recently, and I hid the quote unquote lore drop behind like 3 ciphers, and I'm like, man, maybe I was a little too obfuscating on this one. I don't know how somebody would solve that. Literally went to bed, woke up, and someone was like, "Hey Kip, I solved this. This is how I solved this. This is how I got to this conclusion." And I'm like, "Bro, how?" Watching people solve ciphers just like that is so fascinating to me. Because you can try to hide information like that, But like there are people, and that's the coolest part about what I do is you'll see people, right? And like they have that thing that they or a set of things that they do very well, and they will just solve it. Because like I mean, you go on that post and like multiple of the comments are just like, what is this? What why is this? Like, is this gibberish? Does this have a point? Why are we looking at Greek, right? And then no, just like person just solved it literally in the time I went to bed and woke up. Wild stuff. It was the highlight of my week, honestly. Thank you, person, for solving that. I definitely credited them in the post as well. I put an edit out saying that this person solved it. Maybe I'll go do another one of those at some point. Ciphers are fun to do. I just need to make sure that I am able to leave relevant clues or do so in a way that is reasonable to be able to solve. Oh man, that was fun though. Ciphers are not my strong point. This game would definitely be a little rough for me, but there are people who can solve that stuff like nobody's business.
Promotion in the game, which forces you to visit the end game land of the giants to steal a dragon egg, and of course, kidnapping a child for Bill Gates.
Yeah.
What can I say? I walked so Epstein could run. All that's left is to finish the story. After deactivating the teleporter shielding from Clanker's laboratory, retrieving a new shipment of soul jars, and rejoining the 2 altar pieces from the Temple of Light and Dark, Archibald's advisors stage a coup and overthrow him. Time for some quick lore. These are the adventurers from Might and Magic-free Isles of Terra, whose starship was thrown off course and crash-landed on Enroth, at which point the group had a schism. Resurrectra, Sir Canahem, and Craghack left for the court of Gavin Magnus, while Castor, Darkshade, and Sir Maximus joined the Necromancers in Deja. Both have very different plans, but the same objective. The Oscillation Overthruster aboard the Lincoln. But we need a control cube to get in, which only they possess. Every character listed is someone's precious OC, so for the upcoming assassination, we have to act like Robert the Wise and Tolberti. We're just there all along. Avoiding this boss fight is the single solitary reason for having a thief, as we may simply pinch the control cube from his pocket.
Amazing.
But I want his blicky, which is more complicated, as he can eradicate 2 people at once with a single attack. However, Grandmaster protection for magic is completely busted and required.
I honestly love that we just now have guns. I'm loving this. This is perfect. He just pulls out his phaser.
For this encounter, like an ancestral memory from the drive-bys of my forefathers, simply touching the Glock awakens primordial knowledge of how to use it. Visions of 7-Eleven stores and Indian gas station attendants swim across my psyche. The barrel cries out to me. It says, "Point me at a pregnant mother." Afterwards, Castor sends us to kill Xenofex and destroy the local devil cluster. Along the way, with the help of his brother, we rescue Roland Ironfist, but not before enjoying the view. As thanks for saving her husband, Queen Catherine pardons Archibald and exiles him to Clanker's laboratory. DoorDash arrives twice a week, and if he doesn't eat his greens, he doesn't get pudding. Finally, we have to board the Lincoln. Luckily, the environmental wetsuits come in child size for our dwarf. Unluckily, this area sucks, and a ship filled with one-shotting Terminators is even worse.
Man, I'm so lost. I don't know how we got to space and guns. I'm just here for the ride at this point. This is wild. Thanks, Seth. I will be buying this game. Thank you. Love it.
Castor restores the Heavenly Forge, which he uses to 3D print 1 billion guns and chimp out. Originally, this was the canonical ending, which would explain the appearance of a Forge faction in the upcoming expansion to Here Is Free. People didn't like it because it's sci-fi. I didn't like it because it looked shit. The canon ending is we reactivate the gate system to reach Web Station 5 and access other worlds seeded by the ancients in the Spinward Rim, many of which are isolated and unknown to the devils. So, that's Might and Magic 7, 26 years old, and still as good as the day it released. There's a myriad of guides and resources, which is partially why I never explained very much. The other reason being that I got tired, and I didn't feel like doing it. Each time I feel anxious about a video, I look at this picture of a divorced mother of 3 and immediately feel better, because whatever I'm going through, she's got it 10 times worse. As always, more content to come, so stay tuned.
Your gold is safe with us.
A warm thanks to the many members of a Merchants Guild, generously funding and bankrolling these videos. To play you out, here is Paul Anthony Romero, the game's composer.
What a fantastic outro. I love this. Yeah, I didn't. I've heard of the series, but I've never actually delved into it. Thanks, Seth. I'm buying this. Oh, 100%. Eventually, I will experience this. Is it pyrocynical? I was like, there's a meme there. I wasn't sure what it was. It makes it even better. No. Oh. I loved everything about this, honestly. Like, this was... I don't even know how to word it. Like, I also love that he blended in, how the scripting on this worked, how he was blending in his explanation of mechanics, going into, what his path was. Like, it honestly blended in very well, right? Like, it intertwined scripting versus, scripting, his actions, explanation of the game, progression. They all blended together very, very well. This man's going way too hard. Like, this is fabulous. I absolutely love this. I think it's also really cool to see people like this who, like, I mean, like, they help with the game and stuff, and it's like they don't stop existing after the game came out, right? So it's really cool to still see people like this doing things. He's going way hard. I'm mesmerized watching this man work. What a very Seth way to end the video. I thoroughly loved this, and I can't wait to see what he brings in next. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I really do appreciate it. Thank you, Seth, for another amazing video. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. I sure as heck did. I will definitely be adding this to my play later list, which eventually will make its way to the gaming channel in some way, shape, or form. Spooktober's coming up, so I got to do my yearly Dead Space and stuff like that. And so I'm pretty packed, I think, till the end of the year, especially because I'll be starting some pretty long projects. But thank you. I really do appreciate it. And honestly, hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day.